Welcome to Crush Your Goals 2026. Crush Your Goals is a program that helps you focus on your goals, help you get what you want out for the year. Okay, so we had the first edition last year. About 15 persons attended, and then the stories from last year was encouraging. A young man who attended the program last year has been wanting to be in the public speaking space. After the program, he was inspired to host his first event. And then, a lot of things happened. One of the speakers there who spoke also at the event talked about goal setting and then went on last year to crush his goal beyond even what he expected. Okay, so last year was like a litmus test for us. And then I looked at the whole program. Okay, some persons were able to achieve their goals, some persons were not able to achieve their goals. And then I looked at what was missing between those who were able to achieve their goals and those who were not able to achieve their goals. And I was able to find one key ingredient. So for the past 3 months, I've been working on structuring a way that everyone who goes through the program will be able to achieve their goals. Yeah, so many people get into goal setting without really knowing what it is, why they're not able to achieve their goals. Some think maybe you set your goals too high, some think maybe you set your goals too low, but there are a lot of things. So today I've brought together people who have achieved something for themselves in different spheres of entrepreneurship, business, and life, right? So they're going to be sharing from their experience and letting us know how to set our goals, right? So depending on when you are seeing this content, because it's going to be like a workshop where you look through it, you learn from it, and then you get to apply what it is in the aftermath in the mastermind class. Okay, so my name is Onyeka Charles Onyekwu. I'm the founder and CEO of Donosco Media. We're a brand development company, and then we are big on personal development. So I welcome you. And then our first speaker for today is Rachel. Rachel is a founder of Ariel's Spare, and she does a great work when it comes to remote working, when it comes to managing system and people. And then today she'll be sharing for us from our personal experience and then how we can be able to achieve our goals this year, 2026. So Rachel, if you're there, please take the mic.
Okay. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning once again.
I'm going to start with talking about the team. I think one thing that struck me about the overview of this team was the specific question: what if you didn't have to wait until December to hit your 2026 financial goals? And what if 90 days was enough to change your entire year? When we talk about change, we talk about crushing goals. People usually look at it in big systems, like they think they need 5 years to change their life. And then you realize that you do not need 5 years to change your life. You need 90 days of consistency, because it's in that 90 days that you build an habit that follows you through for the rest of your life. So this session, the topic is about crushing your goals for 2026. But my focus is on clarity and mindset, because without these two, then your strategy for crushing your goals would not stick. And I'm not here to speak from a place of I've always had this figured out. No, I haven't. I'm here because there was a point in my life where I didn't have it figured out, and I learned what actually works. My name is Rachel Ike. I'm the founder of Aries Fair Inc. We are an agency that caters to freelancers and academics. Um, and I'm also a research writer and editor on Upwork. So I tell people my agency caters to freelancers and academics. I am also still a freelancer on Upwork. I still work on Upwork. I still get clients on Upwork. I still bid on Upwork. Yeah. And 5 years ago, if someone had asked me to teach on crushing goals, honestly, I would have laughed because what did I know about crushing goals 5 years ago? But the only reason that I believe I can speak on this today is because of the shifts that I've experienced in the last 3 years. For context, in 2022, I hadn't made my first million. And in 2023, I set a goal that this year I want to make my first million. I didn't know how, right? I didn't know the steps that I was going to follow through. But one thing I did was to audit what I did in 2022. Like, what were the things I was doing in 2022 that was bringing me money? And how could I use those things to make my first million this year? And when I looked back, I saw that in 2022, I made my most money from research writing, helping people write their research papers, their theses, and all of that. Helping people also write mini articles. That was where I made my first million. I'm sorry, that's where I made the most money in 2022. So when I sat down in 2023 and saw that my goal is first million, it might not seem like a lot. I mean, 2023 was just like 3 years ago. First million is like,
Yeah.
and I looked at it and saw that yes, the way in which that I had made money from 2022 was through research writing, and that's exactly what I did. So what nothing changed until my thinking changed, right? If I hadn't sat down to take notes of what made me the most money in 2022, I would have tried something else in 2023 and I wouldn't have made money because I would have kept trying new things every year. And the more I try new things every year, the farther I go away from my goal. So the goal that I set, it wasn't a magical goal. I've said I wanted to make my first million in 2022. I said I wanted to make my first million in 2021. So what made 2023 different? It was the clarity that came from moving. I believe strongly in the fact that clarity comes from momentum. Sometimes you don't
Yeah.
know what to do, you don't know where to go until you actually take the first step and you take the second step. And as you take those steps, it gets clearer for you. So the clarity that I gained along the way, the clarity that I gained from reflection was what made 2023 a year that I actually achieved the goal of my first million. And not only did I make my first million, I made multiple millions within months. So, and then in 2024, I said that I wanted to make my first 1,000 on Upwork. I had been working on Upwork in 2023, but I hadn't made up to $1,000 on Upwork in 2023. I had made most of my money off Upwork. I wanted to make money on Upwork itself. So I didn't also know again how I was going to go about making the first 1,000. But as again, I reflected on what made me the most money last year, what made me lose money last year, and what can I do better to merge both what made me money and what made me lose money so that I can make more money in 2024. Um, by August, I had made over $1,000 on Upwork, not personally.
Wow.
I I helped a client make about 10K on Upwork and I got 1,000 as a result of it from just basically helping them, right? And
Yeah.
when I also went on Upwork, I was also able to move my income base. I didn't get to 1,000 on Upwork because I didn't focus on Upwork in 2024. I focused on helping people instead on Upwork in 2024, but I still reached my 1,000 goal because by 20 to by August I had made 1,000. I didn't make I make it via Upwork, but it was not directly like a direct distance, but I still reached my goal. And by September, I had started my company. By December, we had crossed 5K on Upwork
Wow.
in revenue. By middle of 2025, we were already crossing 13K threshold. And even by September 2025, we had passed the 20K threshold on Upwork. Personally, I have surpassed the 1,000 that I wanted to make on Upwork
Yeah.
personally with my own accounts. Yeah. So one thing now this brings me back to clarity and mindset. I'm giving this context so you see the way that I have grown over the years. It hasn't been from magical thinking. It hasn't been
Mm.
from from the goals that I have set. Basically, it has been from how I approached those goals, right? It has been from the mindset that the way you approach those goals. And one major problem, I'm going to be listing three problems that I see that people face, right? And the first one is that most people have the wrong goals, to be honest. Some
Mm,
people think that they fail because they lack discipline. Meanwhile, you find out that they fail because they are chasing goals that they haven't questioned. For example, you want to make 3 million naira this year. You haven't really questioned why you want to make that money. Maybe because you had your friend setting up a goal and they say, oh, this year I want to make 2 million naira. So because you are following your friend now, you decided that you're going to set a goal for 3 million naira, right? So common mistake like copying
mm,
other people's goals, setting goals that don't match your current capacity. You're looking at yourself now, you haven't made 5,000 naira in 1 month for the past 3 months consistently, but you want to make $300,000 by the end of the year. Very unrealistic. It doesn't match your current capacity. It's doesn't align with who you are at the moment and who you are becoming, right? You focus more on the outcome for the goals as opposed to the systems. And when you set
mm,
goals that you actually want to achieve, you find out that um you don't achieve those goals because you set them. You achieve the goals because of who you become during the process of chasing them, right? For example, you're chasing the numbers, but you don't know that you wouldn't get the number until you change your identity. If you still have some issues with money or issues around money, then you would find yourself not reaching those goals, not because you can't reach the goals, but because the goal you're striving for challenges the version of who you currently are. Right.
mm,
So there's a question that I like to ask people when they say, this is a goal that I'm setting, this is a goal. This particular goal you are setting, does it align with who you are becoming? Or is it a goal that you are setting to impress people? For example, I want to buy a car this year. Am I wanting to buy a car because it aligns with the version of who I'm becoming? Someone who needs a car to go out, someone who needs a car to attend events? Or is it because I want to show people that I have arrived? That's why I want to get a car. And we find out we set all these goals not because it aligns with who we are becoming, it aligns with who we are trying to impress. And the second thing is people waiting for clarity to start their goals. You set a goal, you say, okay, I want to make 1 million naira this year. It's not an unrealistic goal by any standards, but we set that goal because we feel it makes sense to have New Year resolutions and a list of things that are both realistic and unrealistic to write down that this is what I want to do this year, right? But we don't know how to approach it. And because we feel overwhelmed by how unrealistic the goal is, even if it's realistic, we just feel overwhelmed by it. We don't make a move. Right. Sometimes you won't know what to do next, and that's not a problem. It's normal, right? My core philosophy is that you make the first move, you make the second move, you make the third move, even if it's messy, even if it makes no sense. The movement you make creates feedback, and the feedback that you get creates a clarity, and the clarity that you get creates confidence. For instance, there's this analogy I like to use. You wouldn't know how to structure your form in the gym. When you start going to the gym, you probably won't know how to use those machines until you use them, even if you use them messily. It's when you use them messily and then you get the feedback that, oh, this is not how I should use it. I should use it this way. And because you use it this way, you are now getting more clearer that, oh, this is how I should actually use it. Yes. Every time you go, you know how to use it. And because you know how to use it, you get more confident at the gym. On your first day at the gym, you will not feel confident because you feel lost. You don't know how to use. That's an analogy that I like to use. And yeah, so people don't understand that you don't get clarity by waiting. If you wait until you're ready, you will never start. So the 90-day challenge for changing your financial year in 90 days is not starting day one because you know what to do next. It's starting day one because if you start day one and you start day two, there's no how you get to day three that you will not know, even if it's one thing, or even if it's something that you did not know before you started. There's no how you get to day three that you wouldn't know that. So Waiting for clarity keeps you stuck. A lot of people wait for clarity with their goals for the year. They wait until April, they wait until May when they feel like they're more clear on what they want. They don't, even if they wait until May and they still feel like they're not clear, they keep waiting until they are clear. And it's October and November, and they're beating themselves up for the goals that they set earlier in the year that they didn't achieve. Which which is why I say waiting for clarity keeps you stuck. When you move, you create clarity, and the clarity builds confidence, and the confidence builds success. It builds an identity that now supports the goal that you are aiming for. You cannot make $100,000 until you become a person who can handle $100,000. The version of you that can handle 5K a month is not the same version of you that will handle $100,000. So until that identity changes, you will never actually reach that goal. And the third big problem that I see that people face is that they don't believe who they are. They don't believe who they are. And one thing I like to remind people is that your income rarely grows beyond your self-image. If you believe like I am the person that deserves to be paid 10,000 naira per hour, you will never make 50,000 naira per hour. You'll be stuck at making 10,000 naira per hour. So your income rarely goes beyond your self image. And one of the mindset changes that I made uh, was going from I hope this works to I'll figure it out. When you say I hope this works, basically you're leaving control to an external source that you have no idea. It's telling yourself that I do not if this goal if that I can make $1 million. Yeah, now this year. I hope I'm able to make my first million this year. And you definitely know me waiting for life to happen to you as opposed to owning yourself, believing in yourself, and taking step for yourself. And also moving from a fear of starting to knowing that okay, let's just do something. Just do it. Even if it's nothing, just start. Just do it. Just do it afraid, do it scared, do it unsure, do it like you don't know what you're doing, but just do it because at the end of the day, you find out that you don't know certain things until you do them. And you will never know those certain things if you keep waiting to be ready enough to do them. And also moving from a mindset of waiting for permission to owning your decisions. You cannot, a 5,000 naira a month you is one who waits for permission. $100,000 a month you is the one who owns the decisions, knows that yes, I made this decision. It might be a wrong decision, but I would figure it out if it's a wrong decision or not. If it's a right decision, I would still figure it out. But basically, I made this decision. Every outcome of this decision is my responsibility. So one framework that I would leave you with today is clarity through reflection. Clarity does not come when you overthink. Oh, if you overthink from now to next year, you will only create more anxiety for yourself. You will not become more clear on what to do. If you ask everybody in your family, can I do this? What do you think about this? What do you think? You are not going to get clarity. You get confusion. So clarity is found by reviewing your patterns. Review your patterns. When you review your patterns, you see what worked, you see what didn't work, you see where money coming from, you see where you're losing money. You basically just review patterns. You don't overthink to clarity. You review patterns into clarity, and then you actually make a movement. So if you're gonna leave here with anything, it's three questions that you should always ask yourself. What actions made me money in the last 6 to 12 months? Yes, we are setting financial target. You want to beat financial target in 90 days. First question you ask yourself, what actions did I do that made me money in the last 6 to 12 months? Think about it. It could be anything. It could be something that you feel like you are bigger than. Like, oh, I shouldn't be doing, but that's where you got your most money from. So are you really bigger than what you got your most money from? Secondly, is what actions looked busy but produced nothing. It's very easy for us to be busy doing nothing, and there's nothing coming out of it. You are busy, you work the most, and then you wear the most tattered pants, and your shoes have holes in it, and all of that. So you ask yourself, what actions looked busy but produced nothing? That's the second question. And the third question is, what am I naturally good at that I have undervalued? we underestimate
Mm.
ourselves a lot. It could be minor things like your ability to look at chaos and actually find a way to structure it instantly, right? So, what am I naturally good at that I have undervalued? Those are the three questions, three simple reflection framework that I'm going to leave with you with today. And best believe that if you think of these three questions and apply it for your 90 days, you would make progress. And also, another thing to remember is that 90 days is not about perfection. We are not starting you out at perfection. You are not starting at perfection. You are aiming towards excellence, not perfection. Perfection is
Yeah.
unattainable. You are aiming towards excellence. And the only way you do that is one financial goal, one question you answer, one income generating action, one mindset shift that you practice daily. You don't need 12 months. You just need alignment and you need momentum. Thank you very
Mm.
much.
Thank you so much, Rachel. Thank you so much. I think you hit the nail on the head, right? So we are living in a society now where people like to be, is it touche, they call it, you know? So there are some things you do that actually keep you going, you know, but because maybe your friends are living the life and that job doesn't seem like it, so you want to neglect it and move on. So thank you so much for sharing. I think the biggest thing I'm taking out of here is that without clarity, you can't push your goals, right? So you've definitely explained how you moved from setting a goal of earning $1,000 and then you had your clarity and then you went as much as doubling it and tripling it. So I think this is a big inspiration for everyone who wants to crush their goal. And like she said, you just have to believe, you just have to try to figure it out, you know. If you are waiting, you wait till forever, and then you regret that you waited, you know. But when you try, you begin to figure it out. All right, so thank you so much, Rachel. The questions will be coming at the end of the sections, right? So we have Coach Ayobami on the list. So Coach Ayobami, you have your 35 minutes. If you are here, please come on so we can take them on the mindset and strategy they need to get their goals touched in 90 days. Yeah, like Rachel said, 90 days is a lot, but 90 days is what you need to build that character that you need, that person that you want to become. Because, like she said, you want to make $100,000, but your mindset is at $5,000. There's no way you're making it. So, Coach Awibami here will bring us up to the mindset we need and the strategy we need to crush our goals in 2026. Coach, if you're there, take it off.
All right. Can you hear me loud and clear?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, great. Pardon, I think there was a little flicker on the internet. Just a few seconds by the way you're introducing me. First of all, I want to say good morning, everyone, and this is 2026. This is a year that I would say whatever you've planned for is possible. Whatever you desire is possible. Whatever you can imagine is possible. I will try not to go as much religious or faith-based, but one thing I will tell you is that if you can think it, is because it has been done or can be done by you. All right, it has been done by others or can be done by you as long as your imagination can be on it. Pardon me, I told myself I would try not to dabble into the mindset of goal setting, but what can you do to a man that is also already a mindset coach himself? Apologies. So a little bit of pointers from the mindset section will still be what dribbling in and is key. Like we do say, mindset is key. It structures the way you can have all the strategies and planning, but if your mindset is not set right, and I love the way our first speaker in the person of Rachel IK said it so well. He said that if you don't have the picture, if you can't imagine yourself, if you don't believe that you can achieve it, as even if you put in the work, you will limit yourself. There will be some limiting beliefs that will limit the degree of results you can get. And I will start from that from what Tony Robbins used to say, which I learned from him, one of my distant mentors. He said something very relative and it works across the strategy and the planning phase of your goal setting. Now you have a goal to make 20 million naira or $2 million or whatever number you want to put in there. But it says this. It said the degree of your action will determine the degree of your results. And I'm going to start off within the intertwine between the mindset and the action phase, which is going to be the TIFA. Is a strategy, a blueprint that guides you in achieving success. Now, picking it up from the first speaker is about the thinking faculty. Now, the TIFA is a strategy to see if is a process of manifestation. You want something to be manifested. Now, it starts with your T, which is your thinking. And that is why I quoted what Tony Robbins said. He said, the degree of your action will determine the degree of your results. Same way, the quality of your thinking will result in something very important. It will create a feeling in you, which is the what? The F. But everything starts with the T. What have you fuel your thinking faculty with through what you see, what you hear, what you feel before you not communicate what you want? Pardon me. All right. Now, when you do that, your thinking is already set right, and every single time. Now, let me ask us this: how will you feel? Or imagine I'm giving you, or the president of the nation, or Donald Trump, and say is going to give you a visa. Just think it right now: a visa, or a residence stay, or a citizenship in the United States with extra $2 million. Your mind is already like, man, okay, $2 million. We're not even talking about the residency right now. Why? Your thought pattern, I've been able to infuse a thought pattern in you, which has moved your feeling. So already like, whoa. And the degree of your feeling will determine the action you take. If somebody promises, oh, I love the way you did this. Okay, see me tomorrow. I think there's some 10 million naira that we would love to invest in your business or give to you to start a business. That night, a lot of things will change about you. Possibly you might not even sleep till maybe around around 3 a.m. or you sleep early and wake up around 2 a.m., sleep again, wake up around 4 a.m., sleep again, wake up around 5:30 a.m. Why? The thinking faculty has changed the way created a feeling in you, and because of that feeling you are having, it will create some action. Maybe I don't know you, but some people they do like to wake up around 6 and maybe get to work around 7:45. But for that particular reason of you saying they're going to give you that certain amount of money, you tend to like, oh, okay. I need to get here early. And you are somebody that has never gotten to work around 7 a.m. and you're getting to that place around 6:45. That will determine the degree of action you take. And based on the degree of action you take, will determine the degree of the result you will see. TIFA, thinking, feeling, action, result. And I learned this as a mindset coach related it to what we're going to be talking about. And pardon me, this is a topic that we can talk in for the next 12 hours straight, even days. And we've not yet we've not yet broken it down as much. So it's not as much of the information and oh, do this, do this, do this. No. It's about you connecting to the core. It said, if no, no, this is it when it relates to action. It said, if you do no action, you will have no results. If you do normal action, you will get normal results. If you do massive action, you will see massive results. The question will now be, how will you be able to do that? It's all about starting from the what? The thinking, the feeling, the action, so that you can know the results you're going to get. And I would love to say this regarding what the first speaker, because that is the foundation of what we're having today. And it's as much as, do you want to do it the way it has been done, or do you want to find a way to compress time? And that is the theme of today. Why wait 12 months when you can achieve it in 90 days? Now, how does that relate? It's about the analogy of, okay, you want to go to the sun, but shoot for the star. You want to go to the stars, then shoot for the sun or shoot for the moon. Now, you might not get to the moon, but you definitely land on the star. Than for you to just plan for the star and you do not get there. But when you outshoot yourself, You might even go beyond the star and land on another planet, but please make sure it's a planet livable. All right. So the concept there is hope, and I want to create a balance. It's all about this is not motivation. This is not it's something that I've done myself. And as I said, I'm not going to go faith-based, but there's a degree of strategy that you have. There's a degree of planning that you will do. And there are things that you know that are already in place that are supposed to make things happen, but they will not just happen. And there are some days that you put in some effort, but because of the foundational planning that you've done maybe some months, some years back, everything adds up and you get access easily and you get that result. I don't want to make it so vague. Let me use myself as an example. And by the way, I've not even started the teaching of today. Pardon me. Maybe I have 3 points I want us to look into. Maybe we'll just be able to touch one. Now, this is it. I wanted, and by the way, one of the speakers is on this course, so I'm not trying to pick a story off my head. Okay, first of May, I started off a non-profit which wanted to do what we call the African Bitcoin Day Quara. And when we started that planning, it was zero budget. Nothing was in the account for that project. By the time we were done with the event, having to host it in the best space ever in Kwara State. Now, everything adds up. Please write that down. Everything adds up. Everything adds up. Now, all of the speakers travel down out of their convenience to be at that event, including our awesome host for today. Now, why did I say everything adds up? Your goodwill, the things you've done for the past decade, are you someone that has sown seed, that have put bread upon the water? Are you the person that have gone far to help without wanting people to help you back, or saying I want a reciprocal way of things? Now, it might sound as if, why are you taking us away from goal? That is goals. So just tell us 1, 2, 3. No, goals doesn't just achieve itself. I learned something yesterday. Favor doesn't just happen. It's a matter of favor is not just something that you go into. It's something that you've done that will definitely come back to you. Relating it to goal setting, I did that event due to what I've sown over time, due to my planning phase. Because people just think planning is you being on paper. You help other people to achieve their own goals. Just to confirm, can you still hear me? I'm seeing my internet
Yeah, I
is
can hear
unstable
you.
over
I can
here.
hear you.
Can you still hear me?
Yeah, I can hear
All
you.
right. Now, the planning is about having to understand that when you help more people, in a way, they will help you. I have my names. Okay, when I needed fund, I had my names placed down in places I've not been to, offices that I've never spoken, but people put my name there. Why? Because 5 years ago, I was the one training them about what they are doing right now. And they kind of say, oh, this person is good for this. Now, I have a goal to host African Bitcoin Day Quara. About 6 or 5 speakers travel all the way from Lagos and Anambra, Lagos, Anambra, Abuja, and all the way to Kwara State. My goal is to achieve an event, 200 plus applicants. By the time we're finishing the event, we spend about $3,000 with 200 plus event participants, access to the state government and the likes, right? Did I write all those things down when I wanted to? Yes. Did I have the money to achieve it? No. But have I sown and planted things on ground that possibly will allow it? Yes. Was I expecting a result? Maybe a reward from them? No. But because of the nature of the law of reciprocity, these things came together to help. So I can't remember word for word what the first speaker said, but he said, when you are planning things, it is key that you just, I can't remember word for word, but what I'm trying to say is in goal setting, everything adds up. Everything adds up. Everything adds up. Now, having to dive in deeper to look into the concept of goal strategy and goal planning itself today, I'm going to just look into some things. I want to talk about 3 things, 3 key things, because I believe that we should be able to remember that. The first one is that turn goals into clear strategy outcome. Don't make it vague. turn goals into clear strategy outcome. Okay, all right. Now, turn goals into clear strategic outcome. This is not about what, move from what I want to achieve. X example, I want to achieve. Okay, let me work with somebody right here. Let me work with somebody. Please, if you have a goal that you want to achieve, just type it in the chat so that it doesn't look as if I'm just taking us on a ride and I'm not taking pause for you to go get some lunch. I'm talking about when we are traveling from the likes of Abuja to Adamawa State. So you have to stop in Jos, right? So let me allow us to stop in Jos. So just type in a random goal that you feel you want to achieve, and let's find a way to just break it down. I will use the 3 points to break it down. And while I await your response, it could be from anybody on the call, please. So let's work together here. Now, the first one is turn your goals into clear strategy outcome from what to why and how. All right? Don't overwhelm yourself with how before you understand your what. Understand your what, but move it from what to why and how. The second one is break big goals into strategic milestones. That is the 90 days advantage we're trying to look into right now. Breaking goals into strategic milestones. And the third one we'll be talking about is plan for reality. This is part of what I've been saying since. Plan for reality, not motivation. You must understand the risk, the resources, and the accountability it takes to achieve a goal. Right now, with that being said, let me see if anybody responded in the chat. If nobody did, then I will just pick it up from there, picking on the first one. So the first thing we're looking at here today is what Tom. Okay, my major goal is to relocate to Europe. Awesome, great. Now, oh, I like that. Now, turn your goals into clear strategy outcome. Your outcome will be what? I want to be what? I want to be in Europe. The question will now be, what do you want to do in Europe? All right, let's set all the questions that revolve around it. Now, okay, what do I want to do in Europe? What are the opportunities out there? Okay, to study education. That means that at the end of maybe at the end of 3 years or 4 years, there you should be getting your certification and the likes of it. All that being detailed out, then you need to now understand the concept of this is not an aspirational. You must turn it to strategic. Now, the next question is that who are the people that can make it happen? Right? Who are the people that can make it happen? If you want to now define it more deeper, you get to ask three key questions regarding that. Why does this goal matter now? Why? You've been thinking around it. This question deals with what? Feeling. Why does this goal matter now? Why not last year? Why not next year? But this year. Now, based on goal, I want to move to Europe. When? Date it, right? If you don't date it, it's an aspirational goal. It's not even yet a goal, it's just an aspiration, right? It must be smart, specific, right? Measurable, time bound, realistic, and the A, pardon me, is not coming to me right now. If you have it, you can just let me drop the A right there. All right, smart, measurable. No, sorry, specific, measurable, achievable. That's the A, achievable, realistic, and time bound. Now, all those things must fall. So within the curve of I want to go to Europe to have a study. All right, to have a study. When to when? Is it achievable? It's achievable, right? The question will not be what surrounds it. Why does this goal matter now? You must have that. The second thing is that what exact outcome am I chasing? Definitely a degree, but don't forget this thing. It's just coming to me right now, please. And reason why I'm saying that is, let me use myself as an example. I was in Europe. I was having my master's in North Cyprus, and while I was about to finish, I was already a lecturer. All right, a graduate assistant lecturer, about lecturing about 4 courses, by the way, 4 courses. And somebody was like, "Oh, Ayo, you're already lecturing. Why not just stay back and just stay in Europe, right?" And I asked myself, "Ayo, why did you come to North Cyprus? Why did you come to North Cyprus?" So, not to live in fear, I had to ask myself that question. I said, I'm done achieving what I came here to do. But most importantly, that is the key thing I want you to take out from here. be key on your goals, but be flexible in achieving it. I'm going to repeat myself. Be keen, like be solid on your goals, but be flexible in achieving it. That is very, very important. Now, the last part of that, what goals must answer three questions, right? Like every goals you have must answer this three questions. We already talk about the why does this goal matter now? What exact outcome am I chasing? The last one is what trade-offs am I willing to make? Right? What are the things I'm willing to do that might not align with the others, but I am willing to make them? All right. Now, with that being said, it agrees with you to understand that one, you need money. Still going back to that, I want to travel to Europe for for study. You need money. You need documentation. You need, if there are discounts and scholarship, you need extra funds, not just for the school, but to stay. If possible, they allow some work permit so that while you're schooling, you work as well. But if you have enough funds to do that, you are good to go. And it goes on and on and on and on. So with that being said, I'm going to okay, I already talk about my personal story regarding that. Pardon me, I'm just trying to fix this. Right, but not to take extra seconds from us. I'll just drop it. Now, I talked about Bitcoin. Okay, I didn't mention the name, but Bitcoin is the non-profit which I needed to achieve that goal for, right? Now, it wasn't as necessary as revenue because it's a non-profit, but it has more of the impact for me, right? I had to look into the market expansion over time. I had less than 30 days to make it a time-bound outcome because I needed the fund to execute the project. Executing project will make the impact. The impact will give me access, and the story of all that can send as a report to organizations that funded us and being able to replicate it. And all those replication over time got me into Mauritius by the end of 2025. Now, something I did in May compounded to getting me. I don't even talk about that as well. Like when they made an announcement, that's why I said everything adds up. But when you want to do something and you know the financial capacity is not there, but you have been sowing, right? Like I said, strategy is about numbers, planning is about everything you do before, currently, and as you get closer to the goal. But most importantly, make sure that you've done things in the past that will speak for you to allow access where you want to get there. All right, I went to North Cyprus, over $5,000 spent, and not a dime of my one naira was in it. Why? The ecosystem when it comes to the Bitcoin space, I already understood my value. I was nominated to go. Two companies came together. I even had a certification as the global base 58 facilitator and goes on and on like that. And I was part of the conference in itself. And I was introduced to some circular economies as well. Now, that's betting another event I'm going to be having in the next 4 days in Kwara State. So everything adds up. Everything adds up. But I just want you to know that it's not something you just wake up one day. Make sure that you're already sowing in your waiting season, in your planning season. Make sure you are wetting the ground. You are wetting the ground. Now, part of the strategy you might be following based on whatever goal you want to do. Now, working with the goal somebody dropped, it might be as much as going on LinkedIn and trying to look at the university you are in, trying to understand the department you want to get in. If the department head or the head of the faculty is on LinkedIn, start liking their post, start reporting, start retweeting. You understand? Connect beyond that. They're like, who is this person? Who is this person? So by the time you are sending your, what do they call it? They kind of choose if they want you to run, if it's a master's, by the way, if they want you to run a PhD, start like that. So by the time they see the name, like, I know this name, they get to even send an email like, oh, sorry, do I know you before? Blah, 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 blah. Oh, yes, we are connected on LinkedIn. So this is a planning stage. It looks as if it's not connected to going to school in Europe, but it's connected because you have been wetting the ground. Visibility is key. All right? It's key. Oof. Less than 9 minutes, and we're still on the first one. So now, what you must understand is that a good go without a divine outcome and constraint is just a wish. So you must understand that what is my divine outcome? But most importantly, why do I want it? It is your why that will drive it, right? It is your why that will drive it. Now, I love the way one of my mentors said it. Fela drew to it. He said, some people say that I want to hammer. What? How do you just want to hammer? Are you a nail? I love the way during his 50th birthday. And I was opportune to be one of the participants and also spoke and gave some relevance on it as well. So he said that instead of you saying that I want to be financially free in 2026, why not say I want to earn so amount by Q2 2026, from which I believe the first speaker already talked about. I don't want to go around that again, but make sure that you know the amount, you know when, you know what skills will give you that amount, and what you are willing to sacrifice to allow it to go. You can't be saying you want to make money and you are every Friday you're going to the club to spend exact amount that you say you want to make. Why not just take 50% of that, sit at home and use it to buy materials that will get you there, and which I'm going to be sharing some resources by the end of this my section, so that you can have access to some resources that will help you. Now, I hope that helps of we looking into turn goals into clear strategic outcome, moving from just what to why and how. I'll be able to like, okay, we understand the what, travel to Europe, get a study. Why? Possibly she's going to share, but for me, it was more like I came here to get a degree to empower myself, a master to empower myself when I was in North Cyprus, to empower myself to know better, to connect, most importantly, to connect. That was one of my key goals. If it's smart in books, I'm book smart. So, like, I was working 2 jobs, by the way. Those are part of the goals. What are you letting to go of? I wasn't going party with friends. I wasn't having my own time. I came there for a purpose. I was working 2 jobs from with the dormitory and as a graduate assistant. And I was having some inflow of money to myself. And when I was like, okay, this country, even if I work 2 jobs, is not paying enough, but it's paying okay, but it's not paying enough for me to say I'm gonna stay. So I had to just sleep. So I knew my why: to connect, build network, and get out. And the how, that was the how. People say in North Cyprus, if you know, chabu chabu, that is not like menial jobs. I said, I'm not going to do this, and I'm going to get jobs. In my first 2 weeks, I got a job with the library. The pay was small, but part of it is carrying myself. The way I dressed to even go do that job, they're like, okay, who is this person? I was Somebody delegate or nominated me to go be the dormitory supervisor, and I was there and I was doing my job based, and my education did not suffer because I did not focus on going clubbing like others. I was still studying, and because of that, those are the things, the payoff, right? The trade-offs. What will you let off so that you can achieve this? Those are part of the strategy. And because the way I was performing good in my department, right, engineering management, our HOD called and nominated me to be a graduate assistant as a lecturer. So with that, all things adds up, but I position myself well that one of their lecturer, when I walked in and I discussed with my graduates, my project supervisor, and I walked out, they were asking her, so is that a new lecturer? Like, so it's matter of perception. I don't want to go into the mindset again, but this is a part of strategy, by the way. It's part of strategy. In accordance, like the way you dress is the way you be addressed. In you wanting to go to do your visa documentation and the like, are you dressing the part that when they see you, to even ask you questions, it won't matter? In the money market right now, if your investor, if your customer see you, will they see you as someone capable of handling that money, or they'll say, ah, man, you want to collect 10 million and the car that you went to drop you is about 35 million naira. So they are like, I beg, this person can handle this. Or you are there, you are just eating anyhow, and they're like, what is wrong? Is this person hungry? I don't think I want to do business with this person. All those things are strategy. Are you intentionally, most importantly, if you want to make money anywhere in the world, visibility is key, and it aligns with thought leadership. Do people respect you enough in that industry that they want to buy from you? 2013 to 2022. That is why people call me Coach Ayobami, Coach Ayobami. Yes, I'm a certified life coach, by the way. But even before I got certified, I was already living the path. the one that will say that United States will always go to your social media and check what you have been doing for the past 10 years. If they go there, I'm super ready. I make sure I do not post anything stupid. Same as in aligns with you having to apply to Europe for school. Have you cleaned up your social media? I'm touching on multiple things right now, but it's key. Now, I doubt if I'm going to be able to finish in the next 3 minutes. But one thing, the second point is bring big goals into strategic milestones. All right. And the idea I want you to take from there is that people overestimate what they can do in a year and underestimate what they can do in 90 days with a plan. One, let me use myself as an example. Bitcoin, as a non-profit, started February last year. Is not up to 1 year. It's not yet a 1-year-old baby, right? But I can tell you that what we've achieved, we've trained people 277, about 299, but we selected 200 and about 280, and we trained them across 13 African countries, graduated 63 of them. Now, if I was waiting for funds, for perfection, it will not happen. We're already partnering with the likes of Trezor Academy, one of the top guys in the industry. I don't want to be mentioning as much, but what does that mean? It's all about, can you just start? We started with the website, which the website is still there. And I was having a conversation on X one time. Somebody was like, your website is not upgraded. I think you should upgrade it at some point. I said, I would rather use the fund available to train people right now. The website is just for visibility. So you must ask yourself, what is important right now? What do people need right now? What will give me the visibility right now? Because if I have a very fine website, nobody is there to go and be reading what is on it. What is the use? All right. So you must understand what is the long-term goal that you need, that you now have to break down to, okay, this is my annual direction. This is my 90 days. How can I compress the time? How can I compress the time? I've forgotten the author, but they say that the time you allocate to a thing is the time it will take. Now, if people do things in 1 year and you want to do it in 1 month, it might not be visible for 1 month, but is there a possibility you do it in 2 months and extra days? Very possible. Very possible. Right? So you must think from that aspect. And I know I have less than some few seconds to go. And with that, I hope I've been able to share some things. Or let me just touch a little bit about the planning and reality, which I believe I've been talking on most importantly. You must understand that good planning assumes that things will go wrong. Don't just come and always be in this is the best case scenario. Anytime I'm trying to do a project, I'm trying to make money, I'm trying to sell a course, I plan 3 things. Worst case scenario, normal case scenario, and the best case scenario. I don't overexcite myself with the 2. The third one is that if this thing doesn't, if it goes south, where will I be? What position am I put, like, will I be in? So you must understand the constraint. What are the things around that? The time, the money, the energy, the skills, right? What are the risks that are involved? The distraction, the burnout, the cash flow, the gaps that will be there. What are the resources you need? The people, the tools, the communities, the mentors, the guides, the leaders that have been in the industry. So you must understand all those things. All right. So you must understand accountability, partnership, and structures that will help you to scale the things that you want to do. And lastly, discipline is easier when the plan already accounts for your weakness. Everybody are not the same. Everybody cannot do it the same. Everybody doesn't have the same grace. So you must understand, you must do SWOT analysis to know what you are good at, what other people on your team. If you don't have a team, can you look for volunteers? By the way, we're able to do Bitcoin events. You can ask the host. We had about 100 and something volunteers. I broke them down to about 31 key volunteers that worked deep that day, right? I couldn't do imagine me doing registration, imagine me doing guest welcome, imagine me doing crowd control, imagine me doing all that. Media, and I won't be able to do anything. So you must know the resources you need and make sure you find a way to work it out. All right, work it out. So discipline is easier when the plan already accounts for your weakness. SWOT analysis. And I promise I'm going to be sharing some I couldn't go deep, but possibly we'll be able to have another 1 hour or 2 hour section straight up on goal setting. But just to help us out, and I'm going to, pardon me, I'm going to adjust my background just so you are able. I'm a reader, like they said, leaders are potential leaders, right? Readers are potential leaders. One of the books you want to get is Goals by Brian Tracy, How to Get Everything You Want Faster Than You Ever Thought Possible. Another book, as long as you want to make money, you have to sell. So you must understand the psychology of selling is very, very important. Regarding the psychology of selling, there's still another book regarding that. Psychology of Money. Psychology of money. You must get that. Another thing is this is about the mindset. If you don't know that you are worth it, you cannot get it. So you must understand this and what you are really worth. And What You Are Really Worth by Brian Tracy. You must understand that you've qualified, you've spent years in universities, you've gotten some certification. Put that together and say, what is my worth? See, use ChatGPT, let him tell you your worth. Now, talking about strategy, people just think that they know it, but your strategy needs a strategy. So you must get what? Your strategy needs a strategy. How to choose and execute the right approach is very, very important. Now, Daniel Inc. says something, and that is what? To sell is human. Whether we like it or not, you say yourself, like now, I'm selling myself to you. And if I can just say that, okay, I'm going to be having my coaching section. It's going to be free under Diam Academy. I'm going to be taking just 30 people in 2026. And it's going to give you access to our community. If you want, chat me up and you can have access to it. It's free, but most importantly, dedication to giving me your time is key. Now, whether you like it or not, the degree of your action will determine the degree of your result and what? Sell like crazy. How to get what? How to get as many clients, customer, and sales you can as possible. So with that, I would say those are resources that you can use. I still have lots more, but these are what are very relative to this section. And I'll say thank you so much for having me. And pardon that I took extra 3 minutes past my time. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you so much, Coach Arubami. It's really a blessing to have you here today. The work you do around mindset coaching, being a life coach yourself. So I understand you got to put a lot here, and we've gotten a lot there. We've gotten a lot. Thank you so much. And for Bitcoin, yeah, it was really, really amazing. For the record, that was my first time in Para, and it was something, it was something
Thank
great.
you.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. So I will just do just one recap from what you said here to the people that are here. Everything adds up.
Everything adds up.
You understand? So everything adds up. So I don't know if you'll be able to join us for the Q&A, but we would like to have you. While at that, Khalid, if you are here, Khalid is someone who is big on execution. He has been on so many grand jury where they have competition for SMEs, competitions for talent, when it comes to technology, when it comes to building stuff. And then he has won. Most of them. And today he's going to be sharing with us the what it takes to execute, like how, because just like Coach Abayemi has said here, the degree of the work you put will determine the degree of the results you get, the action you do. So how do we take those actions? How do we execute? Khalid, if you're there, please take the mic.
So my name is Kalyo. I'm a co-founder of Topaz Technologies in technology innovation hub right in the heart of Gombe, and also co-founded other startups such as The Rights Mobility, which is an app-based Uber pool version but for interstate. And it's an honor to be here. And I'm very glad that my topic was about executions and habit, because basically it's just the same thing. Execution is part of habit. It's a habit. So when we talk about habits are what defines your life. Habit is what makes everybody do what they need to do. For a very long time, for the last past 6 years, I've been a mentor, a coach, not really a coach in the kind like Coach Ayobami. No, I've been a trainer, most likely, and I would say sometimes a bit of motivation speaker or guide. And one of the most important things in my approach whenever I'm training people is, first, you have to put your mindset at the right place. Because if you have the right mindset, you will be able to achieve the goals. You'll be able to put the things together needed for you to execute and to do what needs to be done. But if you get somebody with the wrong mindset, it's very difficult to get them to do anything, no matter what effort you put out there to help them. Because it's basically like this. human beings are being live and do whatever they do based on incentives. So because and luckily for us in the 21st century, financial incentives drives the world for better or for worse. There used to be a time when financial incentive wasn't driving the world, and that's when we had prophets, we have religion, we have people, because people come out. Those prophets were very popular because they didn't come out to promote themselves or to make the most money. They come out to take society's problem to lead with purpose and clarity. It's all about common goals and uplifting the entire society. But today we live in the 21st century, so it's all about incentives. So whatever you want to do, you have to start putting that incentive to the people. Whatever I do in my life, I try to see it from a point of view. What do I get out of this? Okay, me speaking here, I have my reason. It might be a different reason. If I can tell you a different reason that will fit your narrative and see, oh, I'm trying to help this organization, but I have my own personal also narrative for doing anything. That's what habits is all about. Why are you doing what you need to do? Because that's what takes you from the point you are to the next point you want to be. And I'll speak some relatable personal experience of mine. Most importantly, because we are talking about setting financial goals, so I'll focus a bit more on that. I started my organization, Dupals, in 2020. Before then, I studied information technology. I graduated with first class from NIMS University in India. So I kind of have some technical background in whatever my field was. But even then, I didn't know it was possible to build a startup in Nigeria, because I could see it, people building startups in India at the time. But I thought it was impossible to do that in Nigeria because I can't see people doing that. And it's back in the 2017, 2015, 2016. There was not the hype or the noise in the media about startups, fundraising, Flutter Wave were not out there at that time. Because if you look at even the Flutter Waves and they came out of YC in 2016. So it wasn't something out there to see. But at the time, I was able to identify somebody who is currently the executive vice chairman of Naseni, Khalil Halilu. He was founding a startup at the time. The name of the startup was Oya Oya, which later he built Sharp Sharp, and he was appointed the EVC when the Tinubu administration came. And I was looking at his videos on YouTube. I felt like, oh, this is somebody I can relate to. He's even a northerner like me. He's a Hausa man. We even look, he has beards and all. So I feel like, oh, if this guy is doing it, maybe I can do it. And that's the power of habit. So the first thing I did from the execution side was try to find who knows him. Fortunately for me, I knew his sister. And his sister was somebody I knew. So I reached out to her. Okay, can you connect me with your brother? She said, no problem. I looked up him on LinkedIn. I followed him. I commented, just like everybody said. I was doing all the liking, the reposting, and following up. So when I finally sent him a message, that's when I graduated. I came back to Nigeria. I said, oh, please, I want to meet you. I have this startup idea I want to discuss with you. We didn't talk about, because even at that time, there was virtual things, but Zoom was not that a big deal before COVID. Okay. So he said, can you be in Abuja to speak to me? I said, no problem. I can be in Abuja to speak to you. And that's the power of execution. Because I could have stayed there and be thinking about, oh, what can I do? Should I meet him at Kaduna? For me to go to Abuja, it's going to cost me this money. What do I get in return? I just tell him, give me time. He said, anytime you're free. I said, can I come this week? He said, no problem. So we set up the time, and he didn't even give me his phone number. That's the funny part. I left, I went to Abuja. I didn't even have his phone number. I was 100% relying on chatting him on LinkedIn, because I don't want to ask him for his phone number to feel like I'm lazy. I want to show him that, oh, I'm in Abuja. I came all the way before we talk about his phone number. And when I came to Abuja, I said, I was in Abuja. Can you give me address? And that's the time he gave me his phone number. And I went, we sat down, we had a discussion. He asked me a simple question. He said, Khalid, I told him all about what I'm trying to do. He said, have you done your financials? I asked him, what is that? And he said, financials is when you sit down, look at what you want to do, identify where you get the money and how you spend the money. If it is loan, how you are going to pay the money. If it is investment, how you are going to grow the business for it to be worthwhile for the people who got the money. If it is money you have, then it's also money you have. It's founders equity. I said, I don't know what that means, but I promise you I was going to go and look at it. And I went and I studied about 50 business plans. And that's the execution part. I studied them. I understood what it means to build a business plan. And when I did that, because the mindset, it's always driven by what you're trying to do to achieve. And when I went to meet him, and he said, okay, now one of the things that you should study this business plan, I studied them. And I was speaking to my co-founder, before even confining, because it was just a concept I was doing in my NYSC then. That's back in 2019, I think. So it was still my NYSC time. And he said he knows somebody that can maybe fund us. He's a bank manager in Bauchi, blah, blah, blah. I said, okay, with the knowledge I got from Khalid, with the execution, we went and the guy said, oh, so can you show me something like on paper that you are going to, what you want to do and how you are going to do it? I said, no problem. Because of what Khalid advised me, I was able to now do a business plan, which was very important and key. Because luckily for me, unlike many people that starts and say, oh, we don't have to get funding, from day one, before I even launched the ideas, I had an investor backing me. And it was simply because I was executing. I wasn't sitting down and just planning, thinking about it, and it was just pure execution. I want to do this. I met the person. I got the advice. I studied what I need to study. Somebody said we can meet this person. I traveled. We went and met the person. He said, "Can you come up with a business plan?" I came up with the business plan. And when we came up with the business plan, he looked at the number, what we wanted. He said, "This is not a big deal. I'll give you that money." And said, "Fine, that's good, but in due time. So go and start doing something." So I was saving money from my Alawi stuff. Cut story short, before the person even gave us the money, because he promised, I was able to buy the domain name of the company. I was able to register the company. I was just waiting for the guy to give us the funding. And I went to even look for office, ask for things that we need to do with the money before he gave us the money. And when it's time for him to sign actually the money, we had to do something. He was on a trip to Lagos, and we said, you know what? It would be cool if this guy sees us in Lagos. For one thing, for impression. So we traveled to Lagos and we met him there. And it's for one reason only, for impression, because it's all about execution. If we are from the same state, mind you, from Bauchi. But we went to Lagos to meet him, to show him that, look, if we are going to do this, we can execute. We are not afraid of doing things or getting out of our way to get what we need to get. So we went to Lagos, we met him, and we signed up the deals in Victoria Island. I can remember that day. It's the first day in my life that I said, you know what, from today I don't like Lagos anymore. Because I was coming from Ojo Barracks to Island. It took me like about 5.5 hours to go there to meet the investor to sign the thing. So why am I saying all this? It's all about where you start, the execution and everything. Now, when we talk about crushing your goals within 90 days, 90 days is just a timeline. And there's something I like about what Grant Cardone said. He said, if you round up a number to 10, is a lazy number. So I would say crushing your goals in 91 days. Add the 1 or add 2 or add 3. Because if we say 10 is a lazy number. So it's all about what? So simply all about crushing your goals in a time frame that is X. The time frame can vary based on what the last speaker said. It can be based on your ability, based on your skill, based on your goodwill, based on, we don't have all equal opportunities. I am somebody that trains people about business development, business modeling. And whenever you're peeling a business model canvas, there's something we call an unfair advantage, which means something that you have that it's only you that have it, that other people don't have it. And I'll give an example. Let's say you want to build a software that solves a governmental problem. Unfortunately for you, your uncle is a governor, or is a commissioner, or is a speaker, or is somebody high table in the government. That's what you call an unfair advantage. And the funny thing is, people think, oh, it's just this guy that has this, it's this guy that has that. But everybody has their unfair advantage. Everybody. So wherever you're doing your business modeling, wherever you're trying to assess something, or you're doing your SWOT analysis, you have your own unfair advantage just for you to identify it and to use it. And when I talk about financials, to be precise, I started like many people, and it was very funny. When we started, we spent all the money we raised to just put in infrastructure, and then we had no budget for execution, for day-to-day activities, because we thought if we put in the infrastructure and brand the business and do marketing and everything, tomorrow clients will start coming. And it was the biggest mistake I did in my life as an entrepreneur. And we did that. We were able to navigate. Fast forward, after a while, up and down, I went into crypto. I went into all sort of shit, just because I want to put money on the table to be able to survive, because it's difficult. And I call my parents and tell them, this thing that you told me to get a job, I didn't get the job. I'm there doing my thing. It's not working out. Can you send me money? It was impossible to do that. So I was forced to be able to do that. And that's the power of, execution, and the power of time constraint. When you put time limit to something, you have to get it done. So in between those things, I moved around. I meet people. I was serving people. There are a lot of powerful people that I met, and I was just becoming their like pet. Can you do this for me? Do that? I'll just do it because I knew one day it was going to come cashing. So they were referring me to all these opportunities and things. And the year I got my biggest breakthrough was, I think it's in 2024. 2020, I started getting some tractions, making some money, getting into places. But in 2024, I was doing things. Things were going well, and then I even got into a competition with NIDA about startups. That was when I was building the rights, and we participated for an incubation program for like 6 months. And when we done, even before we reached the final, I knew we were going to reach the final. We went to the final, and on that day of final pitching, if early morning, I repeated my pitch like maybe 30 times or something. It was crazy. And when we went to the pitching place, my body was shaking because in my mind, I knew I have to win. I agreed. I've even budgeted the money actually. But it's time to do it. And now my body was shaking. And I can remember I went back outside. I got some energy drinks to take and all those things. But because of preparation, always meet opportunities. When the time came, I was called to the stage. Everything froze. The anxiety, everything froze. I was just me, version 1. It's just me. All I could see was that $15,000 that was a grant for winners. That's the only thing I was seeing. And when I stood, I gave the best pitch. When I sat down, I knew there was no way on earth that we're not going to be top 3. There was no way. So I sat down, I went and I shook my co-founder like, when you watch Fast and Furious, when the deal clicked between Roman and between Tyrese Gibson and what was his friend, they did one kind of chop knock. We did that same thing. We didn't win, but we did it because we knew that we were going to win. And we sat down and the funding came. Within that vicinity of the period, we got shortlisted for a contract with 3MTT. So it was just a lot of money coming all at the same time. And I can remember at the beginning of that year, I had a group of people that I was coaching. I have one consultation company that I call Home for Consult that help people, register their business, understand basics of foundation of business. The beginning of that year, that January in 2024, I went to the group. I said, let's set some financial goals to hit, everybody. And I signed my own. I said, you know what? This year, I'm just going to make like 5 million. And everybody was saying, oh, I want to make like 1 million. Everybody's saying their own numbers. And I told them that I'm going to make my own for real. And before that year ends, I think I achieved like 4x or more than the amount I even set it at. Wow. It's not even half of the year that year. So that's what happened when you put execution first. I'm somebody that just, let's just do this thing. I don't undermine the importance of planning, but execution is also more important because when you're an innovator, one of the most important things is you always have a thesis. Okay, if I do this, it's going to amount to Y, Z, or blah, or blah. Because at the end of the day, you have a thesis. I want to do X, Y, Z, and you have to be able to validate that with customers. You have to put the product in the front of the customers to see, interact, and then you decide how you want to go. A famous example is just Opay. When Opay came to Nigeria, they were doing O-Rides. They were doing all these filling gases. It wasn't a payment app. It wasn't a fintech. But because of what they did, they realized the gap of fintech, and now they are a unicorn. It's one of the most capitalized startups in Nigeria. They process billions of naira worth of transactions every single day. So that's when you have a thesis because execution is everything. Whenever we talk about anything, you are only able to do certain things when you execute. And sometimes when people try to set their goals, one of the common challenges when you are trying to execute from stage 1, it's easy to execute, but it's very difficult to consistently do it because you can't see results. People can't see results and they think, oh, this does not work, this will not work. I started my company, like I said, 6 years ago, and there were about 4 people that I know they were doing the same thing when we started. By year 3, it was only me. So all of the rest have quit. They've decided that, oh, this business maybe is not profitable. They went to do other things. By year 3, we are still the same. We are still struggling to even pay our annual rent. But by year 4, things worked out. Because that's the power of execution and consistency. When you keep executing and consistently executing, you will definitely meet that thing. It's whether you call it fate, whether you call it science, whatever you want to call it is your own problem. But it's true. It's a factor of reality that is constant. When you put in effort for a certain period of time, you are going to achieve. The problem is a lot of people do not wait enough to see results. And to see results, you have to wait enough consistently, boringly, patiently. And sometimes things happen in a way that people, you sit down and you're thinking about what to do, or you're executing your thing. But the challenge that would happen is to consistently show up, to consistently do it, even when it doesn't make sense. Because at the end of the day, whatever you're trying to do is just nobody cares. That's the truth. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. Like what we're doing now, what we're doing, nobody cares. The only person that cares is the person that they care because of their own sake, not because of our own sake. It's because they want to achieve their goals, they want to do their XYZ. That's why. And we are here also because of that same reason. Maybe because we want to have more audience for people we do things to. Maybe because we want to really shape people because it has a ripple effect to come back to us or something like that. So at the end of the day, execution, I would always say, beats anything. And when it becomes a habit, it becomes easy. One of the things I'm very good, because everybody has their own superhuman power. My superhuman power is building startups. I can think about an idea, assemble it, build it to even get probably funding in like maybe a month or less than that. I can even build you a startup fully idea MVP team within less than a month, because that's something I have done. I have done it not once, not twice, and it's all about execution. I don't like to waste too much time about planning the website. It's all part of the things I will do, but I'll look at the first thing. I used to consult for a lot of people about business, and one of the constant thing that I had to help people understand, especially for women in business, is they like to go and raise funding because they don't make the money. Maybe it's their father, maybe it's their husband. They give them money, and they go and spend all the money to rent a shop, build a restaurant, and then think the customers will come. It doesn't work that way. Before you become a food vendor, open your own restaurant, start it from home. Get your own website or social Instagram account. Say you've made 10 packs of X amount of food today, you want to sell them. If you are able to sell that 10, do it consistently 3 or 4 times, 5 times, scale it, have some revenue, then go and do the restaurant. But some of them, they go out there. I've consulted for a lot of women. They go to their uncle or husband, they give them 5 million, they come and rent shop, they open restaurant, and after 1 year, it's closed down. Because after 1 year, they were not able to sell to make 1 million naira sales. Because they didn't start it with understanding the customer from the beginning. You could go to all these fun pairs and sell it there. Start as a person that sells there. Even if you don't want to sell online, go to all these fun fairs, go to all these things and sell there. If you have customers, then there is no way you cannot come and do a restaurant later, because everybody that want to fund you that are willing to fund you even when you don't have traction will fund you after this traction. Will even probably give you more. If maybe your husband wants to give you 5 million, he's willing to risk that money. But when he sees as a real business, he might be willing to give you 10 or 15 million. So, and the only way to do that is to execute, to start from day one. There is something that we call in technology and innovation space, thinking from first principles. Okay, what is the one thing that do you really want to do for achieving this? Just like the previous speaker says about setting your financial goals. Why are you even trying to set your financial goals? Is it because you need money? If you need money, okay, fine. There are many ways to make money. You can go and scam other people. But why do you need money? I need money to take care of my family, to do XYZ. Okay, fine, good. What do you need this year, next year, in the next 5 years? How do you see yourself? What do you want to do with the money? Okay, after that, then go back. How do I get the money? These are some practical steps. How do I get the money? Do I get it loan? Do I start something from something? Do I start working to save money, or do I get loan from bank, or all those things? So when you are able to do all those steps, it helps you at the end of the day to achieve your goals. So I don't want to take too much of the time beyond my timing. I think this will be a perfect place to find a closing to stop here. But before I close, I would say one thing, and I will say one thing: the pursuit of excellence is the one thing that you should pursue wherever you're doing in life. That's the one constant thing you should pursue. Goals can change, a financial target can change, career target should do, but the pursuit of excellence is the most important thing. I come from the northern Nigeria, where naturally it's stereotyped. People think when you talk about northern Nigeria, it's all about Almajiri. People can't speak good English. People can't even build businesses. All those things. But you look at northern Nigeria, we bring entrepreneurs like Dangote, Absamad Abu. So it's execute out there. And the only reason they're there is not because people like them. It's because they're excellent at what they do. Whether you like their cultural background, their religion, it doesn't really matter. It's irrelevant. They are the richest people, and that's the traction that is important. So wherever they can, financial goal, personal goals, it's all about one thing: pursuit to excellence. Be the best person in the room. They will call you again and again and again and again, and they will think somebody will go there. Very recently, and I'll close with this. Sorry, I went to do a session. I was invited by a ministry in my state to do a session about something, and I was speaking and I was trying to motivate the people, telling them about my stories and stuff. And one person, unfortunately, was sitting close to my wife, and he was saying something, and he said, I know this guy. He has all this connection. He keep telling people to do X, Y, Z, and this. He didn't know he was speaking next to my wife. And during the break, my wife told me that, oh, somebody was saying this about you, that yes, you have connection. And I was laughing because when I started my journey, I didn't know anybody. I don't know anybody. Yes, he might be true now. I have connections, but I didn't just get the connection by sitting down inside my room. I got those connections because I went there, I was walking, I was meeting people, and I built the connection. So anybody can do that. It's just the truth. Nobody gave me them. My father was not a politician or some rich, famous somebody that connected me to people. I went there. I even relocated from my state. I'm currently living in Gombe. I'm not from Gombe State. I came to Gombe to do business. My co-founder called me and said, we have this opportunity here. Nobody was doing this. Can you come and do? And I was comparing that place and Abuja at the time. I was about to go to Abuja, but I relocated there for one thing. It was an unfair advantage. Nobody was doing that. If I go to Abuja, I'll just be another Khalid from another 1,000 Khalid, likes of Khalid. But when I came there, I dominated. I got awarded for the best digital economy promotion award for Northeast in 2022 by the then Minister of Communications. So it was my unfair advantage. And then I later went back to the Abuja, connected to everything, and everything worked out fine. It's just one single thing. Execution is a habit. If you can't execute, you'll not get the result. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Khalid. Thank you so much, Khalid. You've spoken like a man who has walked the path, and truly you have walked the path. And then one interesting thing now you said that also, I think I'm happy you said that, was the fact that you didn't have all this connection before you started. It's easy now for anyone to look at you and say the reason why you're doing XYZ is because you have all these people in your pocket. Well, I'm happy that when you started, you didn't have them, but you just pursued excellence. And then your story about traveling to Lagos to meet someone who you're originally in the same place with is brave. It shows that you want to go far. And I think the person will see the extent that you can go to get what you want to do. And I really thank you for having this conversation with us today. So I think I will just talk about the 90 days plan, and then let us give a final thought on all of this. The questions might be sent in to you later when the participants get to go through their review of their process, right? So the 90 days execution plan for crushing your goal is something that has been designed for one person, just one person, the person who have tried in the past to get to their goals. They've done this, they've done that, and then maybe they just want to give it one more chance, and then the person might have gone to the point where they now feel like it's not even important to set goals anymore. So this 90-day work plan is for that person, just one person, takes you your financial goal. How much do you want to achieve in the year? This is what you want to achieve in a year. Okay, now let's compress it to 90 days. Can I give an exception of an extra day? I call it, let it not be a lazy number, but 90 days. We'll compress it, and then we'll have what we do every day. We've heard from great speakers there, people who have done a lot of things in different spaces. So now that 90 days, like you just come together and say, okay, this is it. We've divided it. There's an action that needs to be taken. And that action is for one person, That action is for one person. This is the action you must take. You must execute. If you don't, you will still be the same person that you are, So the 90 days work plan is for one person, and there's a certification to it, but it comes at the end of all of it. That one person that has been able to walk through these processes, to find their unfair advantage, to do what they've not done before, to do what they've done before in a better way, to pursue excellence, and at the end of the day, hit their financial goal for the year within the space of 90 days. They get the certificate as an acknowledgement that they've worked this, and then they've achieved it. So it's not as if it's going to be vague. No, we are starting with the process. we are reviewing it. This is what you want to achieve, right? And then we come to the end of it. How did you achieve it? We'll have to see the results. It's not something that, is like a mastermind, talking about what you want to do loosely might not be the best way to go, but talking about it in a mastermind helps you to get it done. And the mastermind is where I'm chasing my goals, you are chasing your goals, you're talking about crushing it. So that is where it comes in. The mastermind comes in at the end of this workshop. For the 90 days, we walk through with that one person. This is what I want to achieve. This is why I want to achieve it. And then we'll work with you to help you achieve it. And then if you are able to achieve it at the end of the 90 days, you get a certificate that is confirming that we've worked this part, we've done this, and then we're able to achieve this. And that is the one person we need.
One thing I would just say is that we've said it all beyond the strategy, beyond the planning, beyond even the mindset. The mindset is key, foundation of it. There are other factors that even if you have everything well planned out, that even if you have all the money to execute, that the rain can just choose to fall heavily. Right? So it all adds up. Like I said, I don't want to go faith-based, but whether we like it or not, we know God. We know God. And I love I know it's supposed to be in one word, but I love the way it closed. Excellence is key. Excellence is key. And you were saying something, I wanted to add a word to it as well. Money is not the issue. Plan is not the issue. Value is the issue. If people see value enough and you're able to think about your stakeholders, everybody involved directly or indirectly on that project, on your product, on your goal, don't just always say me, 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 me. I. Always think about the people that revolves around that project and what value can you give to them all? What value can you give to them all? I don't want to say over it again, but one, it all adds up. Excellence is key. It distinguishes you from any other mediocre thing going on. And value, how well can you package it that people will say, I want to be part of this? Thank you very much.
One of the things that is a very important thing in today's world that people don't take for granted is the importance of knowledge. Okay, there are many noise out there. They exist. ChatGPT can even has amplified that. Everybody now has a voice. You think about your thought, you paste it on ChatGPT, it gives you the answer. But at the end of the day, you're only going to be left with one thing: can you execute or not? The knowledge, the barrier to getting the knowledge has disappeared. And just like I said earlier, and I'll iterate on it as the final closing. The starting will never be good. It will not look perfect. I can remember when I used to train people or used to do online masterclass. Sometimes I'll just be me and the coordinator on the call, and I'll still do my class because at the end of the day, I just want to build that habit of consistency. So when I was just doing me, one person will join, two person will join, and I reach a certain stage where when I'm doing a virtual call, people join from all over the places. One, because they know that if I said I was going to do it, I was going to be. So BM is all about execution. And I'm very glad. Look, I don't know, it's God aligning things that I got to speak about the execution part because that's what I'm good at. It's just execute. Even though, like Rachel, the first thing is put your mindset right because mindset is everything. If you have the wrong mindset, it's just like having a phone with a virus. The phone will just constantly misbehave. Whatever you do to that phone, it will never be well. But when the phone doesn't have virus, the speaker can break and you can repair it. The keypad can break and you can repair it. Screen can break and you can repair it. But when the virus has affected the engine, it can have good speakers, good microphone, good charger, good casing. It will still won't deliver. So at the end of the day, the foundation is the mindset, and at the last part is just keep doing things, throw things on the wall, and see what sticks at the end of the day. So thank you.
I just want to come to the end of this webinar, and I want to sincerely thank all our speakers for taking out time to be with us here today, to inspire the next generation of builders, of entrepreneurs, and of leaders. I assure you that your commitment today will go a long way for a very long time. People will get to go through this as a class, as a training, to prepare them for the 90 days challenge of getting their life together, of pursuing excellence, of taking actions and getting the results they truly, really want. And then I thank you all for honoring us with your presence. And I say, may the good Lord bless you and continue to increase you in wisdom and every good way. Thank you so much.